I will say Abra, and all you need to do is reply with Cadabra. And when you say Cadabra, just leave the one with passion and say it. So I will say Abra, you say Cadabra, okay? Are you ready? Abra. Cadabra. Welcome. Thank you all for coming. Today we will talk about engagement, motivation, enchantment, and potentially what people need to be motivated at work and to be happy and successful. Too many vague theories and abstract theories, but I'll try to make it as specific as possible. Today's date?
Tuesday.
Today's date?
Yes.
Not so fast. This is a test. Imagine that you will receive 2 phone calls. Sitting in your lounge watching television, okay? First phone call. You are informed that you have just inherited 30 million euros. No strings attached. It's yours, sitting on your bank account. 30 minutes later, you receive a second phone call. You have just been informed that you have been diagnosed with an incurable disease, and you have a maximum of 10 years to live. How does this realization affect you, and what will you do differently having faced and having been informed about these 2 realities? You don't need to answer. For example, will you continue doing the same job you're doing right now? Let me give you a hint. In a recent survey, people were asked if the money issue was taken off the table and they would have as money as they would like, okay? Will they continue working, or will they sit at home, sipping cocktails and binge watching TV? 80% replied that even if the money issue was off the table, they would still like to work and be productive. Okay, so you can keep pondering on the 30-10 phone calls and questions. Keep the answer for yourself, but if you answered no, I will not continue to do the same work, it should at least mean something, okay? I have some good news for people who love statistics. Here is a slide of statistics. And I have some good news for people who hate statistics. This is the only slide with statistics. 84% of employees, according to Gallup, we all know Gallup, okay, that's not me, in Cyprus have reported that they are not engaged. 84% of the workplace. To be more specific, 65% have reported that they are not engaged, meaning that they are not passionate, they don't give them discretionary effort, they don't put their love, their passion, they don't go the extra mile. They clock in, clock out, do the minimum so that they don't get sacked, okay? So out of the 84%, 65 are not engaged. They are not your worst performers, okay? They perform, but they don't give their love. But 19% are actively disengaged, which means not only these are your worst performers, but it possibly means that these people are doing harm to an organization. They possibly include corporate saboteurs who would be very happy to destroy company property, to leak trade secrets to the competitors, to spread toxicity, because they have a feeling that, for example, I will beat the capitalistic system, I will show them. For whatever reason, they are bitter and they are causing damage. 19%, there are more than 100 people in this auditorium, so more than 20 out of you may be a corporate saboteur. And to be more specific, around 85 people here more than 85 people are not engaged. And if it's not you, it's certainly the person next to you, certainly your colleague at work, your manager, your family, your brother, your sister, okay? It affects everyone. So a mere 16% are reporting to be engaged, to love their job, to get out of bed in the morning and say, I'm going to work, okay? Only 16%. How do we solve this issue? In my presentation, I will try to propose a model of hopefully addressing the problem of engagement based on my experience and my research, okay? But before we can talk about solving a problem, first we need to diagnose the situation. We need to I hope everyone can see it. I bought the biggest market on the market. Can you see it? Yeah. On the back as well? Yes. Okay, but I'm blocking your view. So let's take it back and I'll pop it back later on. Excellent. So let's see how we can possibly solve the situation by diagnosing the problem. Let's take a small trip down the memory line. I'll take you back a few years, okay? Ooh. 50,000 years ago, Homo sapiens. How was he engaged? Of course. Did he has to comply to some management system, complex management system, and did he have to be motivated by money or to be threatened by punishment? No. He would go out, hunt for food, look for water, find shelter in the night, and occasionally hide in a bush so that the saber-toothed tiger will not rip him into pieces. Simple, efficient, effective, not elegant, but certainly effective. 250 years ago. The Industrial Revolution has changed everything. Production systems became more complex. People had to find ways to cooperate together. Industrialists came with the idea that we need people to build railroads, steam engines, build factories, assemble assembly lines. So we need to incentivize them. The biological drive is not sufficient. Not only that, but it has to be suppressed so that you don't get to chase my wife and I don't get to eat your dinner. So the biological drive of the Homo sapiens, not only it was not sufficient, but it had to be suppressed. The new model, introduced by Taylor in early 1900s, Taylor, the well-known industrialist, was the scientific management model. People need to be controlled. People are like parts, cogs of a machine, supervised to do a job very specifically and very correctly, to be rewarded, to do the right thing, and to be punished if they do the incorrect things. And this is how the carrot and stick management style was introduced. If I want you to do more of the things I approve, I incentivize you, I give you bonuses, promotions, benefits in kind, so you are faster, better, more efficient in assembling stuff, in building railroads. But if you don't come to work on time, if you are not efficient, you're fired. So the external, the Homo sapiens biological drive was complemented with an external rewards and punishment system. Okay? This system worked for many decades until it stopped working because work became more complex, more conceptually challenging, and things were not as simple as sitting on an assembly line and putting a bolt on a piece of machine. This became obsolete, and for the past 70 years, social scientists have carried out extensive experiments which show that people are not as rational and as selfish as the industrialists used to say, and as economics the bedrock of economic theory said, which is, if you want somebody to work, you have to control him, you have to give him the carrot and the stick, because if you don't control him, he will be passive and inert. Traditional economics were based on the theory that people are rational human beings who looked after their self-interest, and they only care about maximizing their wealth. These social scientists have put a huge question mark on this theory, culminating with a psychologist earning the Nobel of Economics in 2002. Let me repeat. A psychologist earning the Nobel of Economics, not an economist, on his seminal work on human behavior, who proved that, guys, you, Milton Friedman, and all economists, people are not rational. Hold on your horses. People are highly irrational. They are subject to huge cognitive biases. They are complex. They have emotions. They have feelings. They are unpredictable. So this theory that unless you give money to people and unless you threaten them, is the only type of incentivization that works, was rendered obsolete or seriously challenged. And it is this background that I gave you now that has fascinated me into studying and researching into human psychology and behavior, and economic behavior, and preparing what I believe is a possible model for increasing engagement. The model tries to answer the question, how can we enchant people? How can we make them, how can we lift their spirits so that they can get out of bed in the morning and want to go to job? So how can we enchant people? By magic. Literally and metaphorically. Metaphorically because we've all been to a magic show, we have felt young, we were enchanted. Literally because this is actually an acronym for the model that I propose. The 5 keys to engagement, or rather, I prefer to change it to the 5 keys to enchantment. Okay? Here they are. Meaning, autonomy, growth, integration, connection. Can you all see? Let's start with the first one. Meaning, the pursuit of meaningfulness. Aligning ourselves with a higher purpose, a higher cause. Getting out of bed in the morning and feeling that we are part of something that makes sense. Okay? Let me tell you a story. You walk up to a stonemason who is building a wall. It's still an early stage. He's taking rocks, he's stacking them, he's building a wall. And you ask him, "Good morning, sir. Do you like your job?" And his answer is this: "It's a monotonous job. I work every day in the hot sun. These rocks are so heavy, I get excruciating pains on my back. I don't know even if I would get the chance to see the end result of my effort. So I'm working here on this mundane thing, and no one knows when this will finish. I may even expire." But it pays for the bills. It's a job, it's a paycheck, so I continue to do it. 20 feet next to him, there is another stonemason doing exactly the same job, taking rocks, building his side of the wall, okay? You walk up to him and you say, "Do you like your job?" He says, with sparkles in his eyes, "I love my job. It may be monotonous. These rocks may be so heavy that my back has excruciating pains. I'm working in the sun all day long. It's monotonous. The money may not be good, but I'm building a cathedral." I feel that I'm part of something bigger than me. It doesn't matter that I will not live to see the end result of my effort, because I know I'm working on something good. You see, these two people had exactly the same job. They were working on the same project, the same employer. One of them has a sense of purpose. It's not about religion. It's about connecting your efforts to something that makes sense, something that clicks for you, for every single person. The first stonemason He's just there because possibly he cannot find a better job. The moment somebody offers him something better, he will leave. The second stonemason will not leave, will work longer hours. He is engaged, he's passionate because he feels part of something bigger. You see, he doesn't feel that he's more or less important than the architect or the designer of the stained glass in the cathedral, okay? He feels he's part of a team who is working towards something good. And this is what meaning is about. The second stonemason, he became aware of what his job, even if it's tedious and mundane, to what his job connects. What's the purpose? What's the cause? There's an alignment of beliefs and ideas. Okay? Sometimes having a cause or a purpose is about wanting to make a difference. Elon Musk sold his share in PayPal in 2002 for $170 million. He didn't buy a one-way ticket to go to the Bahamas and sip pina coladas all day long until he expires. He put 100 million in starting a rocket building company, SpaceX. His friends were telling him, "Are you seeing a psychiatrist? Are you okay? Are you cuckoo? You are throwing your money in a black hole. You're building rockets. You're competing with NASA." You're saying, "Okay, I know what I'm doing. I want to create the interplanetary system that will facilitate the creation of a colony on Mars." Small vision, right? Small. He is already building the spacecraft today. Okay? He's already building the hydro-liquid tanks of the spacecraft that will send a manned mission on Mars. It's his long-term vision. But short-term, his bread and butter, so as to fund his mission, he has agreements with NASA and he's sending equipment and crew to the International Space Station. So he has a short-term plan and a long-term plan. There are queues of people applying for jobs at SpaceX, thousands of CVs, to be the cleaners, to scrub the floors, because they believe in what he believes. It's the power of meaning, the power of purpose. You're building a wall. You don't need to be an astronaut for what you do to make sense to you. And it's not always about making a difference or working for people who have huge visions. Either it's Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, who said, "I want to put a dent in the universe," and he did. Jeff Bezos, who also created Blue Origin, a space-oriented company, and so many others with huge visions. But it is to make a point that money is not everything. Let's go back to Daniel Kahneman, the non-economist who received the Nobel in Economics. It's not about money. Think of Wikipedia. Who would have imagined that Wikipedia will be such a success based on volunteers who work 20, 30 hours per week in addition to their jobs to change the world? Wikipedia succeeded because the founder had a vision which extended beyond money. Microsoft Encarta failed and closed down. Microsoft Encarta, funded by Microsoft, hiring the best brains in the world to build an online encyclopedia. You know why it failed? Because it was another business project of Microsoft. Let's do a great encyclopedia. You will get bonuses. The first quarter, I want this amount of money. The second, this amount of profits. They all lost the big picture. They were given a money incentive, and they were all like this. When you were given money incentives, you're like this. I want to make bonuses. I want to look at our bankers. You cannot really be conceptually curious and conceptually efficient. Whereas Wikipedia said, let's give the power to the common man. Let's make everyone educated. And everyone embraced it because they believe what he believed. Okay? The power of meaning. But it's not always about huge visions. Everyone can make a small contribution from where we are. We only need to increase our awareness of the possibilities. You can be a tailor or a fashion designer who decides, for example, I want to design clothes so that people can feel beautifully with their bodies, okay? Simple things. I want to design clothes for overweight people, for underweight people. I want to give away free clothes for poor people, whatever, from my profits. But you can be a cook or a chef. I want to cook delicious but healthy meals. I want to cook meals for diabetics. I want to cook meals for children in schools, lunches, not the usual nuggets and burgers that kill our children. There is your contribution. There is your purpose. You don't need to send rockets to Mars, okay? But we need to become aware of what clicks within us. You can be a real estate agent. Okay, you can sell your apartments for the passport schemes, but maybe you can also help couples, newlywed couples, to find a house, which is impossible today. You see, there are things to do which can make you feel that you are contributing to something bigger than you and your financial goals. Or you can be a bus driver. Monday morning, everyone goes to work, not in Cyprus, of course, gloomy, like, my God, I'm going to work. I hate it. And put a smile on everyone's face. Sing to them. Tell them good morning. Make their day. You see, it's about making a contribution. You can also make a difference if you have the perseverance, the vision, and I don't know what of Elon Musk and Steve Jobs. But you don't need to. Okay? Done. The second key to enchantment is autonomy. Management leads to compliance, not engagement. Management is a technology, it's not nature. Management is like a television, it's not like a tree. It's man-made, okay? And it's subject to updates and changes. Many people argue that management is outdated, especially top-down management systems, autocratic management systems, which assume that what we said before, people were born inert and passive. So let's give them carrots and sticks. Let's watch them in case they decide to spread their wings. Autonomy is about giving people power and choices. Engagement, to reach engagement, you need self-direction. Self-direction and self-determination. Give power to the people, okay? So autonomy is the second key to engage people, make them feel more involved, to take responsibilities, to be accountable, to feel like they are the masters of their fate. If they succeed, they feel that the success is due to them. If they fail, they will do it better next time. They will adjust the sails along the way. Another story. The supervisor of a team of janitors of a plant went to a workshop on how to motivate people of similar jobs, janitors. And he was desperate. He was telling the instructor, my team, they are all hopeless. They cannot even take the trash out. They cannot properly sweep the floors. They are uneducated. The morale is too low. I don't know what to do, how to motivate them. They are all people who cannot find a better job. That's why they came here. I'm hopeless. And he threw the concept of autonomy, that maybe they should be self-directed. He was like, what the hell do you mean? A cleaner sweeps floors, okay? He takes the garbage out. What autonomy are we talking about? He said to the instructor. The instructor asked him, can I ask you something? He put on the side his syllabus. Let me ask you some questions, he said. Who buys the soap for the floor? I do, of course. I know the people. I have the budget. I am responsible if the soap is good or bad. If something goes wrong, I will be sacked. Okay, who buys the polish? Who buys the wax for the machines and the furniture? I do. Of course I do. I have the budget, blah, 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 blah. I'm responsible. Do they know how to buy it? They cannot even sweep the floor. Right? Who meets with the sellers and the vendors to buy cleaning equipment and brooms and all these things? I do. I have the relations. I meet with them in conferences. I choose the best brooms. I choose the best equipment. Of course, the cleaners will choose. How do they know? Right. And who formulates the schedule when everyone, the shifts, when John will go to sweep the floor on this floor, when Mary will polish the plant. I do, of course. They will sit together to schedule their shifts. Impossible. To cut the long story short, he told him, you see, the instructor talked to the supervisor, how much room there is to give people power and trust and authority, to give them life, to breathe energy into them. You have told me now everything that you can do to fix the situation. How can you evaluate someone if he cleans well the floor if you buy the soap? Or if he waxes well the furniture, if you buy the wax and you tell him how to wax. Wax right, wax left, like Miyagi. How can you tell me that I will cooperate with Zoe and not Michalis? If my chemistry with Michalis is much better, how can you schedule my shifts and tell me I need to take a morning shift? I'm a night person. What do you put me in the night? So this guy was explaining the 4 basic parameters of autonomy. Okay, autonomy is about task, time, technique, and team. Task is what to do. Should you take the garbage out, sweep the floor, wax the plant, or polish the equipment? Time is when and by when you will do it. Should you do it in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening? These are all decisions. Someone has to take them. Technique, how will you sweep the floor? Like linearly, circularly, waxing, polishing. How? Technique. Other decisions. And team, with whom will you do it? He went back to the drawing board. This is a real case study, by the way. He gave power to these people, not the radical power as we will see. He told them, guys, go and buy the wax, go and buy the soap. Here is the Excel spreadsheet, figure out who is going to take what shift, okay? He gave them freedom, and they became active, energized, and they felt proud and trusted. And this team, the turnover, the employee retention was improved, the turnover was improved, and they became much more productive. Sometimes the answer is hidden in plain sight as to what we can do to improve engagement. Because autonomy is not an on and off switch, it's not binary. Either you give full autonomy or zero. That's not the case, although I will tell you about radical autonomy. Autonomy is a knob. You tweak it. You turn it a bit here, a bit there, depending on the person. It's not on and off. Give John some autonomy on team with whom to work. Give Zoe some autonomy on technique, how she can do what she will do. Give Emilio, whatever, autonomy on time. What to do in the morning and what to do in the evening is up to him. So autonomy is not a switch, an on and off switch. Either go full Monty or zero. Because basically, if now we in Cyprus, we go and we tell our colleagues or subordinates, I went to a seminar yesterday, and tomorrow go do whatever we want. Go to Starbucks, go watch movies, and we'll close down the business. So the point is not to be radical, it's to tweak the knobs. Here, there, bit there, and see how we can help people redesign their jobs and recraft their task in a way that makes more sense to them, not to you, not to me, okay? So this is about autonomy. Once you give autonomy to people and you give choices, the power of choice to them, then we can start talking about opportunities for growth. Another great key for engagement. People have a natural inclination to want to grow their skills as persons. We want proof. We like puzzles. We like hobbies. In the weekend, we go and we play football. No one pays us to play poker. Sometimes they do, okay. No one pays us to learn the violin. We enjoy getting better and better at things. We want to get better and to progress. It's in our DNA. I didn't say this. Science says this. And in fact, there is a very interesting study by a guy whose name I cannot pronounce. It's called Mihail Csikszentmihalyi. And the study is called Flow, by the way, and his name doesn't flow. He figured out, having studied extensively people like athletes, artists, and authors, that when people engage in interesting tasks, and they are given enough challenges and their skills are up to par, very often they get into a state of flow where job becomes effortless, they become hyper engaged and productive, and they lose the sense of time and what is going on around them. When people get into the flow state, let's say a painter, he enjoys what he does so much, time flies, he has no idea what he's doing, but he's so productive. When they get into his flow state, he says they are at their highest engagement. This is Mihail Csikszentmihalyi. And he said this is a secret of long-term growth. Although in flow, you only get into and out on a short-term basis, flow and growth is long-term. This is a very simple diagram, by the way, don't get. Just focus on the vertical axis and the horizontal axis, okay? His idea is that if we give people extremely high challenges, right? Let's say that you want to play tennis, and tomorrow they tell you you play with Rafael Nadal. You will be shocked. Anxiety and panic will be top, right? You will not be in the flow, you will not be engaged, you will freeze. So if you have a top challenge but your skill level is 0, the result is anxiety. On the other hand, if you are Rafael Nadal and they tell you go and play tennis with Philippos, skills high, challenge low, what's the result? Boredom. This formula was tried on thousands of people, okay? It's very accurate. So start from A. I am learning tennis today, right? Low challenge, low skills. I go, I get a coach. He starts to teach me tennis, right? Gradually, I will move to B, right? I will get better and better. So skills increase. But I'm not in flow. You know why? My skills increase, but I have no challenge. So I sign up for an amateur tournament competition in 1 month. During this month, because I will be so focused on becoming better, because I throw myself into a challenge, I will move from B to C, okay? So I will be in the flow, I will be highly engaged, energized, motivated, and the task itself becomes a reward. You don't need to be incentivized. They don't need to pay me to become better at tennis. Then, if I continue playing in the same league, the same tournament for years, with the same level of people, I will move to D, out of flow. Why? I'm becoming better. Okay, I play tennis with my kids, with my friends. I move to D. What do I need to do? Throw myself another challenge. Sign up for a more challenging tournament. Or play with someone difficult. Or you get me into flow. That's the main idea. I don't want to give you a lot of details on the studies. I would just want to tell you that his findings are that to find flow, you need 3 things. And I will use the analogy of the rock climber to explain to you how it works. Because he studied rock climbers. They are an extremely useful example for flow. You want clear goals. I want to get to the tournament and play tennis. I want to get to the top of the mountain. Clear goals, right? Constant feedback. How does the rock climber get constant feedback? Anyone can guess?
They get tired. They get tired. They do not fall.
Could be. Or they always know that how far or how close they are from the top. They know if I get this direction, I'm getting away. If I take this direction, I'm getting closer. They have constant visual feedback. They know if they are going well or not. And for the rock climber, for us, a piece of rock can be just a piece of rock. But for the rock climber, when he's immersed in the rock climbing and in this activity, because he's in flow, the rock becomes an indescribably beautiful site in itself, full of textures and full of options. So constant feedback. Just to give you another idea on the feedback, a surgeon also has visual constant feedback. When he makes an incision, say on the leader, I'm a surgeon, okay, I'm making an incision. If there is no blood, it means I'm going well. The tennis player has constant visual feedback. He gets the ball over the net, or he feels that his backhand is getting better and better. So there is feedback. That's the idea. And then, we've seen it already. You need a matched balance of challenge and skills. If the challenge is too high but the skill is too low, you have anxiety. No flow, no engagement. If the skill is extremely high but the challenge is too low, you'll be bored, you'll fall asleep. So ideally, you need to have high challenges matched with high skills. That's all about growth, and this is how you grow. into and out of flow, okay? You find things that are meaningful to you, that you like, you enjoy, and you throw yourself a challenge and you sharpen your skills. It works, trust me. Integration, the pursuit of integration. Why do we have probation periods, 6 months? Because we want to give the opportunity to people to buy into the culture of an organization, for example. Or we want to give the employer the chance to decide if they made the right choice with a specific candidate for the job. And it saves people a lot of trouble with employment law and complications, we all know. So if things don't work out, we shake hands and we part our ways. It rarely happens, right? Integration is much deeper than passing the probation period or the induction week for that matter. Learning the procedures of the firm, getting an email address, getting a punching card, getting the logos, getting a computer. This is technical integration. Real integration comes when we understand that the whole person comes to work, not just the worker, okay? The whole person has to be integrated. If we only seek to integrate the worker, we will face disintegration down the line. Maybe not today, not tomorrow, not within the 6 months, because the employee may need the job, so he or she may decide, I don't feel very well here, but I need the job, so I will not leave. But down the line, if this integration continues, they will leave. When we say that a person is a whole person, we've seen before by the non-economist winner of economics, Nobel, that people are complex, okay? People are not simply rational robots who want to make more money. It's not. Remember Wikipedia and many other examples. We are complex beings and we need to be respected. Take integrity, okay? Let's say you get a job in a big firm, and at some point you realize that it is expected of you to cut corners, to engage in, let's say, creative accounting, touch into some gray zones, right? You are expected to do it. If you don't do it, I cannot guarantee your long-term position in this job. They will not say it, but you will sense it. You will accumulate this perception from the way they will look at you. When you say, but to do these things, but to overcharge a client, yes, you will overcharge a client. Or coincidences, I'm sure no one has such cases here. To manipulate my colleagues, to lie to them. It's a job. You're getting paid. You should be proud that you have a job. Integrity, work, health, friends, family. If people and organizations do not try to integrate the whole person, not just the worker, forget about it. They will not engage. You want to bet? They will not engage. They may be working under fear because you are compliant and you're pointing fingers, but they will not love their jobs. Whether you like it or not, they will not like their jobs, especially if you want them to make discounts to things like integrity, health, and family, okay? And I like a metaphor very much, which I've read somewhere, I can't remember, which says that every person is like a juggler, okay? He juggles between, he has 5 balls, and he's trying to balance between them. The first ball is called integrity, you see that. The second, health, the third, work, fourth, family, and the 5th, friends, or social life. One of the 5 balls is made of rubber. The other 4 balls are made of glass. Guess which ball is made of rubber? Yes. Say it loudly. Somebody said work. Work. Why? Because if the going gets tough and people feel that they are pushing the corner, they have to decide, they will throw work any time of the day. And they will leave. So, and you're looking at each other like, why did he leave? He was so happy. Wow. No. You were not interested enough. You didn't care about the whole person. You assumed that he was happy because he was he was stretching his face to show a smile. Okay? So it is work that will go, not integrity. Maybe integrity will go in the short term, but long term, If there is no integration, not technical, real integration, it is work that will go every day of the week, okay? Take my word for it. Finally, connection. This relates to integration, as we will see. Connection means establishing deep human connections. Being real, being genuine, being truthful, looking people in the eye, and being honest. Not manipulating people, not lying to them, not expecting that they are expected to accept whatever you have in your mind. Connection. When you have deep human connection, you establish rapport with your colleagues, your subordinates, your managers, your stakeholders, your customers, your clients, your family, your friends, your mother, your father, everyone, okay? You establish rapport. When you establish rapport, you establish trust. We think that trust is neutral. We place trust on a pedestal, we go to play football, and trust is there waiting for us, right? Welcome back, trust is there. Trust is not neutral. Trust, you either build or you bleed trust. Okay? You need to work to sustain trust. It goes back to integration again. If people do not feel security, do not feel that they enjoy trust with you, do not feel that they are in a zone of safety, they will not engage. If you are not honest with them, if you are not caring, if you are not empathetic, if you are not compassionate, if you don't respect the whole person, forget it. People are not stupid. Remember the novelist. We are complex. We have 150 cognitive biases. Do you know what that means? Preconception, biases. It's impossible to decode the human being, okay? If you think your assumption is more compelling than our human nature, forget it, right? So, deep human connections. Let me introduce to you the most popular listener in history. Do you know him? Who is he? Yes. His patients are quoted reporting that this guy was listening to them so intensely, but also so caringly, that they could talk to him for hours. He would remember even the most mundane, trivial details. He would be interested in everything they would say. We tend to think that the opposite of talking is waiting. Okay, this guy came to my office to talk to me, okay, he's talking to me, maybe he wants to ask for a favor, maybe he wants to get a raise, blah, blah, blah. And she's talking to you, but you're waiting. I will reply, I will tell him this. And she's still talking, by the way. I will tell her that, I will tell her the other. I will show her. And when she finishes, you have listened nothing. And then you reply, and you screw up listening to her, and you screw up your reply as well. The opposite of talking is not waiting. Do you know what's the opposite of talking? Yes, active listening. Pardon my French. Shut your mouth and listen carefully to every single word that hangs out of your colleagues' mouths. Okay? That's the only way to build rapport. Otherwise, people will see right through you. Listen to them, understand what they want, what they need, even what they don't tell you. Attune yourself, step into their shoes, show empathy and compassion. Be like Freud. You need to be interested in order to be interesting to them. If you keep talking about yourself, blam, blam, the best, I'm the best firm, I have 15 degrees, have 15 PhDs, whatever you want, I can solve it, but you don't pay attention to what they say, forget it. By the way, physicians, doctors, as per some statistics, 18 seconds into a conversation with a patient, they interrupt them. That's a statistic. 18 seconds. I'm a patient, I go to Halis. Halis is a doctor. Doctor, I'm feeling awkward, I'm feeling empty, I'm feeling worthy. 18 seconds, he interrupts you. You have this, tick the box. Go. Imagine if doctors don't have the patient to listen to their patients. Imagine what we should be doing. I finished. Now, remember, these are the key components of engagement, which is an exaggeration for enchantment. But to wrap it up, let me present the purest form of the model, the magic model, which is the diamond shape, just to see how everything interrelates. Connection, as we said, is in the middle. Deep human connection is in the middle of everything in every organization, or it should be in the middle. Because if you have deep connection, so you have trust with your people, they will open up, they will tell you that they don't feel well, they want to some more meaning in their jobs, and maybe you can allocate them to a social committee, to a new project, to volunteer in some, I don't know, a CSR initiative. Maybe you can explain to them, you know, your job may look tedious, like the stone mason, but we know what we are doing in this firm. We are contributing this amount of money to this. We're building a school, whatever. We're building a cathedral. Okay? So maybe if we can listen to our people and we establish deep connections, we will help them find meaning too. You see how it relates to meaning? If we listen to our people and we establish deep connections of trust and rapport, and we create a safety zone, we will understand where we need to tweak the knobs of autonomy. Give them some more autonomy, some more choice, some more freedom to spread their wings. Similarly, with growth, which strengths and talents they can grow so as to enter into flow. How can they improve? In which seminars to send them? In which conferences? What books to buy to them? I don't know. We need to listen to them. We cannot know. And maybe they will not tell us if we don't talk to them. Again, deep connection and trust will help us understand if somebody is feeling well in the office, in the firm, if there is some problem, if they have some, if there is a mismatch between the values of that person in the firm because of whatever reason, cutting corners or being expected to do things that he doesn't want to know. And we will hopefully be able to find some solution that will make the person at ease. Again, communication and connection. And clearly, meaningful jobs encourage us to take more responsibilities, to seek more autonomy. If we get more autonomy, we will have more opportunities for growth. We will seek more opportunities for growth. If we have more opportunities for growth, it means we are looking more long-term into the firm. We are giving integration a shot. And if we are giving integration a shot, and through connection and communication we can achieve all this, then we may be able to align our vision, our beliefs, with the vision and the beliefs of the organization, which is meaning. To close and to show you the power of connection, which is in the heart of the magic model, I would like a brave volunteer, brave and autonomous, self-directed. Anyone? It's very easy. Anyone wants to come up? Dennis, my friend. It's a female, but never mind. Philippos, Ella. It's very easy. You remember that some of you, okay, all of you, were asked to put, to write the name of a city. Raise your hands if you have done so. A photo. I'm joking. Great. This box, I have never touched it. You can believe me or you cannot believe me. I have never touched it. I have no idea what you have written. Okay? You can believe me or you may not. My friend, you wrote the city as well, right?
Yes.
Doesn't matter. I will give you the opportunity to choose any piece of paper you want, but you need to stand somewhere specific. Okay? You need to stand near the slide. Want to see? Choose anyone. Not see it, please. Choose one. Just one. Okay. You want to change your mind?
No.
You sure?
Very.
Look at it. Don't say anything, okay? Never mind. Sorry. Now, don't show to me. Please stand there so that you don't see what I'm writing and so that I don't see what you're thinking. Open it up. Look at it now that I'm not looking at you. Don't say anything to anyone, just read it, okay? When you're ready, tell me, and I will ask you something, but don't give anything away. You read it?
Yes.
Think of the vowels, please. Just think. Don't blink. Don't change your facial expression or body language. You just read. Okay, think of the vowels, right? Okay. All right, I think I've got something. My God. Don't look. Okay, I don't know how I did, but listen. On the count of 3, use your microphone and name out loud the city you have freely chosen. Yes, name it.
San Diego.
Great. Thank you. My friend, thank you very much. You are very brave. But what if I tell you something else? Would it be interesting if I tell you that we have diagnosed the choice of words from the beginning of the speech? Can anyone see something? You see the connection? What's the connection? It's an exact anagram of the word diagnose. Ladies and gentlemen, get your magic wands and go create your own magic. Questions? No questions? Cocktail? Huh? You understand the connection? The anagram? Yes. It's deep human connection. Questions? How do we start? Deep human connection. Attunement, empathy, compassion. Others? No? Thank you very much for coming.